My name is Wendy Tremayne, and I've created something called Swap-O-Rama-Rama, which is a clothing swap and a series of do-it-yourself workshops. So I produced the first one in New York, October 2005, and 500 people came. And it was like, holy shit, you know, why are 500 people so crazy about this idea? It really led me to say, well, what's behind this? Why? And the most apparent thing was there is no creativity in consumerism. And this was very much about creativity, and people were celebrating it. It's easy and even mundane to say this is as good as it gets, right? This is the best we can do. It's totally unexciting, and it doesn't request that anybody be great or smart, innovative, to just leave it like this. It is such a more exciting place to say we can do so much better with everything. That should be a never-ending thought. It is badass to recreate the car and have no negative effect and make it cooler, faster, all the things that you're so attached to, right? Leave everything alone. You could have all of that and then all this great stuff on top. Intelligence is badass. Innovation is badass. No, I don't want to, sit with everything that's here and say good enough. That's lazy, dumb shit. And it's boring me to tears, and I really don't want any part of it. 100 years ago, objects in our lives were all made by us or someone we knew. And consequently, there was no trash, of course. But the objects were imbued with meaning. Like, it wasn't just an object, something that came off a factory conveyor belt. It was a story about a person and a life. So in India, Gandhi used to walk up to people and he would touch their fabric all the time and say, "Is that homespun?" And the reason he was asking is if they said yes, he would know that the British imperialists were not quite, taking over yet, and there was still hope. And he also used to say, what good is the finest cloth if it creates hunger and unhappiness? And in a sense, that's the simplest truth that you can pretty much apply across the whole commodified world. So it would be incomplete to not look at branding, because it's such a huge part of our culture. And at the surface level, it's like, okay, it's branding. It's how do I find out how to get that jacket of yours that I like? Oh, because it's written on there. But on a deeper level, it's really dividing humanity into socioeconomic stalls. So you look at other people and you see them based upon the size of their wallet, not the expanse of their creativity. And I think it's a really demoralizing part of the branding process. So one of the last things I added to Swap-O-Rama-Rama was labels that say modified by me, and they're at the swap so people can cover branding and say, oh, no, it's me that I'm paying attention to, and it's my creativity. People sometimes say, like, oh, how dare you suppose you can just jump off the ship and everything's gonna be fine, If you're gonna stand there on that ship and just have that voice, blah, 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 you're such idealists, well, you're never getting off that ship. But if you attempt to find another way, this idealist way, little by little, you're going to find little things, and your life is not going to suddenly go from one thing to the other, but over years, it sort of meshes. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, wow, I'm sort of not relying on all these things other people are on, or I live on very little money, and it plays a very small role in my life. If you want to get off the commodified world, and you want to not be a slave and tied to a desk and all these other things, start small and look for ways to integrate it. I lived in New York City, a very, very expensive place, not because I made a lot of money, and I lived very, very well because I had a community of amazing, creative, intelligent people that shared everything that they knew. Together, we had the best of everything because we created it for each other. If you choose not to be a consumer, you're giving up leisure time. It's the bourgeois phenomena. And it's like, well, what do you do with your leisure time? You shop. The truth is that labor is the greatest leisure of life. It's the process of being a creator. It's the greatest thing we have, and it's the thing we gave away. For what? For blandness.